Destroy Dr. Birx. The New York Times has just published an article attacking Dr. Birx, the noted CDC doctor who, with Dr. Fauci, is handling our country's response to the coronavirus epidemic. You might recall that back in 2009, Dr. Fauci was working right there alongside Dr. Birx to assist President Obama in responding to the H1N1 swine flu and the Ebola virus. At no time did any political party or news media reporter attempt to make a political issue over how President Obama or his CDC team was handling the various plagues during the Obama administration. But the news media has a different policy when it comes to President Trump. Presidential candidate Joe Biden accused Trump of being xenophobic by limiting travel from China. Not to be outdone, Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi led an entourage through San Francisco's Chinatown, holding hands with people, not wearing any face masks, and advising them to stand up to President Trump's perceived racism and xenophobia against people of Chinese heritage. In his 2020 State of the Union address, President Trump mentioned the need for the nation to unify and to combat the coronavirus as it was arriving on our shores. After the speech, Nancy Pelosi declared it a pack of lies, and, in the first time in our nation's history, publicly and visibly tore up the president's speech after warning the nation of the dangers of coronavirus. The news media has treated the coronavirus epidemic as a political opportunity to bash President Trump. Remember, they never did this to President Obama. One of the angles of attack used by the national news media has been to attempt to create an imaginary feud between Donald Trump and Dr. Fauci. They devised this angle because the news media realized at the onset of the epidemic that they could not attack Dr. Fauci as being a Trump supporter, Trumpist, or in any way being a Trump crony, as they attempted to destroy New York Mayor Rudy Giuliani. No, Dr. Fauci, at the outset, was off limits. And I wondered back in February and March how long it would take the news media to find a way to attack Dr. Birx. The news media claims to favor women's rights. The news media claims to be feminists. But at the first opportunity, they have now to start bashing Dr. Birx. Here, the New York Times published a story downplaying the credibility of Dr. Deborah Birx and her work in the White House to combat Wuhan virus. In the piece, Birx is accused of being too optimistic about slowing the spread of the virus in conjunction with reopening the economy. Dr. Fauci is labeled as the more authoritative voice who was muzzled for having a pessimistic view. So, failing to create an imaginary dispute between Dr. Fauci and President Trump, the news media has shifted tactics again. The only reason that they are doing all this is to assist Joe Biden into the White House. There is absolutely no reason to create fake controversies and to attack the credibility of CDC staff, except for the very simple fact that Donald Trump is now president and Barack Obama is not. When Barack Obama was president, not one reporter, not one editor, not one news agency thought that attacking Dr. Fauci was the best approach to handling coverage of the coronavirus crisis. The national news media perceives it as their number one job to score political points against President Trump over his handling of the coronavirus. The news media's job is not to inform their audience on how to safely protect themselves and their families from this epidemic. The media's focus is to get Joe Biden into the White House, and they will literally grab anything at hand to sling at Donald Trump. Has been positive and enthusiastic about her work, and she cheerfully brushed off criticisms by the news media in this interview with Brett Baier from Fox News. when you hear or read about attacks about the Center for Disease Control team, know that the news media has only one goal: to get Joe Biden into office. And informing the public of ways to stay safe during these times is not the goal of most of the news media. Because as we see with the New York Times, politics comes before the health of you and your family. Thank you.